Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be, some of us reviewing and others extending on our learning of linear functions. All right, so you guys are going to be divided up into two groups, Group A and Group B. Group A, our objective for today is that by the end of today's lesson, you guys are going to know how to graph linear functions. You're going to be comfortable with it, and you're going to be able to graph both positive and negative linear equations. You're also going to be able to explain how to graph linear functions, so you're going to be able to put it into words or verbally explain it on a video. Group B, you guys are going to be able to apply what you know about graphing linear functions to creating a Google slide presentation. Okay, so we're going to have two groups of you. One of you is going to be working. So our agenda, these are the steps that we're going to take to reach our objective. First thing, we're going to have an opening activity. All of you guys are going to participate in that. The second thing all of us are going to participate in is a vocabulary review on vocabulary. So that's why you have those worksheets on your desk where you're going to be filling in the lyrics. The third thing are focus notes with Group A. So Group A, we're going to go through step by step how to graph a linear function with a positive and a negative slope. And also Group A will be participating in a matching activity where you're going to match up the graphs with the equations, and finally there's going to be an exit ticket for everybody. And you'll have a choice of how to show your mastery. So you'll be able to either explain on Flipgrid how to graph a linear equation, or you'll be able to explain on a Google form. Okay? All right, so right now, I want you to take a minute to recall what you know about graphing a linear function. So just think back to when you first learned about graphing linear equations or linear functions. And here's a picture to kind of help you jog your memory. Just recall, what do you know? What are the steps? How should it look in graphing a linear function? All right, go ahead and think now quietly. Okay. All right, so now after you're done thinking about what you recall regarding linear functions, now you're going to take 2 minutes to share with your elbow partners your thoughts and ideas on linear functions. So take 2 minutes to share with your elbow partners. Make sure you give each other a chance to take turns and speak. Okay? Go ahead and go. All right, so now ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Google Classroom. You're going to find the link to the Padlet where you're going to share or record your elbow partner's thoughts. So let's see what you can remember what your elbow partner shared with you. Okay? You're going to record that in Padlet. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you had some awesome ideas on what you recalled regarding linear functions. So now we're actually going to review some key terms. All of us are going to do this now in vocabulary. So go ahead and at first we're just going to listen to the song. Okay, just listen, watch the video, and then we're going to go through it a second time around at a slower speed. And at that point, we're going to be filling in the lyrics. Okay, so first one, we're just listening. Second one, we're going to fill in the lyrics. All right? Here we go.
Okay. You wouldn't believe what I saw yesterday. Alright, so I was in my routine.
Okay, so now it's time to do our step-by-step review with Group A. So Group B, you guys are going to go into the Google Classroom. You're going to find some Google Slides that you are assigned, and that's where you're going to work on creating your presentation on linear functions. Please follow the directions on the slides. Okay, so read over the directions closely and follow the instructions. Okay, Group A, you guys should have your notes, and we're going to go step by step on how to graph a linear function. All right, so our central question is, how do you graph a linear function? So how do you graph an equation and show it as being a straight line? First off, the vocabulary, and we reviewed this vocabulary and vocabulary, but let's go through it real quickly. So please fill in the blanks as I go through these terms. First term, blank equation. That's an equation between two variables that gives a straight line when plotted on a graph. So right now you should be filling in these words. That is a linear equation. So a linear equation is an equation between two variables that gives a straight line when plotted on a graph. The next term we have, and it's described by a linear equation, and is often written y equals mx plus b. That's a linear function. So the equation, a linear equation, when you graph it and it is a straight line, becomes a linear function. So the linear equation is the function, and this is the form that it's written: y equals mx plus b. So example 1, here's a step-by-step example of how to graph the linear function. So first thing, here is our linear equation. And the first thing we need to do is find the y-intercept, okay? The y-intercept is the number that is on the side with the x, but it isn't attached to the x, okay? So it's not attached, it's all by itself. So if you're looking at the side with the x, we have a 2x plus 1. What number is not attached to the x? So class, what number do you see isn't attached?
1.
1. So you're going to go ahead and that is your y-intercept, 1. Okay. So now we're going to identify the slope. Now the slope is on that same side, but it is attached to the x.
2.
So class, what's the slope? 2. And we have to put that in a fraction. So can I have a volunteer and raise their hand and tell me, how do you make a whole number a fraction? How do you do that? If you have a whole number, how do you turn it into a fraction? Yes?
Do you make it into a decimal?
Not a decimal. So fractions and decimals are similar, but to make a whole number, a fraction, yes?
You have to put the 1 under.
Yes, you put the 1 under, perfect. Okay. Okay, so now I want you guys to try graphing a linear function. So these are the steps to help you in graphing it. So follow these steps. I want you to not only graph it, but also fill in the blanks to the steps. Okay, so go ahead. You can work on this with your elbow partners. That's okay. Help each other out. But go ahead and try and graph this linear function. I'm going to go around and see how you're doing and help you if you need it. All right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you did awesome today. So thank you for participating and letting me teach you and review with you linear functions. So this is the last thing that we have to do. So you guys are gonna go and you actually have a choice. You're gonna either go into Flipgrid or you're gonna go into, click on the link here. Both of them are gonna have links to the exit ticket, which is a Google form. So if you feel more comfortable videoing yourself, recording yourself, explaining how to graph a linear function, you can do that, or you can type it out. So you have the choice of how you want to demonstrate what you know, okay? And then that'll be for everybody, both Group A and Group B. Thank you.